Love them or hate them, the BYD Shark is here to stay, and there's a bloody good reason why. One of the most anticipated vehicles of 2025, obviously the BYD Shark. There's a lot of movement happening in the dual cab space, obviously in the American, USA vehicles, but also our domestic market here. The addition of obviously the Super Duty Ranger, all of these electric FEV style vehicles coming through, being now the 48 volt hybrid Hilux Ranger. But probably the biggest talking point of 25 has been this BYD Shark. There's a really, really good reason. This car is absolutely phenomenal from a driving perspective, an engineering perspective, how much technology is in it's just 10 years ahead of anyone else. It's a Chinese ute. I mean, that for an Australian market is a bold move, but it is phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal. So we'll go into a little bit about what makes, in our perspective, doing conversions with tubs and all that sort of stuff, something that we look at from an engineering perspective. Back in January, I believe, 25, we were fortunate enough to get a customer through the doors that just bought one of these, and super excited to see what we could do with the actual platform itself. There was one prerequisite for the customer, and it was to be done properly. He didn't want it just rushed out the door. We put on social media a couple of months ago that one of these was coming in here, a completely new platform, not just for us, but all tray and canopy manufacturers, given that we do have 480 volt, so high voltage, and we do also have a petrol tank effectively that needs much more consideration in fuel adaptation for the purge system. So this vehicle does have a very sophisticated, if you will, carbon canister style system, given that we don't want fuel vapors leaking into the atmosphere, close to a 480 volt motor. Naturally, there was a lot of attention put in BYD's factory and design team to make sure that that fuel vapor was harnessed and arrested in a very, very complicated venting system effectively. We needed a little bit of time, so he's given us the grace of a couple of months of time. But it was one serious consideration where nothing was to be clipped and cut or reharnessed, especially in the charging side of things, which presented a whole host of challenges. We'll go into them now. So firstly, the fuel vapor system, as I mentioned, incredibly complicated. There's two sets of sensors on it, and there's a whole lot of hard lines. So this vehicle having a tub, unlike most other vehicles we use, they utilize the tub to store a lot of those connections and those fuel vapor arresters. So we had to relocate them. And of course, the charging system had to be relocated as well. Being 480 volt and a lot of proprietary plug hardware and sockets, the last thing we wanted to do was go cutting things and effectively bastardizing and butchering the system. So we had to consider that as well. And given the fact that everything's sort of made to fit and fixed length, there wasn't a lot of room to move things around, especially when we're fitting the tray. So there's a lot in that. Now, the second thing is the engineering the chassis. So we've got a double wishbone rear end, which is really, really uncommon on any dual cab in Australia, or in the world, in fact, with a coil spring. So it's not like your typical 5-link in the Navaras where you've got a coil and a solid rear axle. There is no axles in this vehicle in the sense that we know it's an electric motor in between both wheels. So the double wishbone is an incredibly advanced system to see on a dual cab in the rear. And in lieu of that, we don't have the load capacity that you would typically have, but more importantly, we've got a whole lot more complexity to deal with on a chassis perspective. So our fitting system, to make it look like it does here and keep the look of the tray and canopies or the service bodies that we have, we really needed to make sure that we adapted our body to the chassis of the Shark. And to do that, we needed to extend a lot of the mounting systems that we've currently got and take out parts of the back of the toolbox that weren't required or are in the way as well. A couple of guard notches as well to make sure that the wider chassis, being nearly 1300 mil wide, didn't interfere with things like fuel and the charging system. And then of course we needed to make sure we had all the sensor relocation stuff under control as well. So there's a lot to consider. It's been 3 months in our shop. The customer's been incredibly patient with us, and I can't tell you how many delays we've had and how many engineering considerations we've had to make this actually a reality, but we're super, super proud of it. It's one of the first BYD Sharks in the market that's done properly. There are other couple of manufacturers that rush to the market. It's not something we do. We wanted to make sure this was really well considered. It was reliable and super safe. Another thing we're really proud of here is that we adapt to the vehicle's OE wiring system and bracketry for all of the sensors. So many are playing catch up in this industry where we're seeing butchery of harnessing. And it's a real shame because there's no need for it. It takes a little bit more attention and time to develop patch harnesses and bracketry that align sensors and wiring and all that sort of stuff back to how it was prior to us getting it. And we pay a lot of attention to that. Everything on the Shark, given that there's so much more now to consider, took a little bit more time, but everything's plug and play. So we have not cut any harnesses, any of the charging harnessing, even the sensor harnessing. All of the sensors that were on the vehicle, like bliss and blind spot and cameras, are all relocated back to where they were when it came in. And that allows the customer to get in the vehicle, take off, and know that everything's how it was. And should there be any issues with anything, everything we've done here is of no question. And that's really important. And it's a part of satisfaction to the customer, but it's also a quality standard that we as a culture here, we drive through the team and the fitment networks as well, is to retain and maintain that quality standard and maintain that expectation for the customer when they leave the shop, that vehicle's as it was when it rolled in. And that's the satisfaction. That's why I do mention we do guarantee the fit, and that's what that means. So really, really cool that we have the ability and the extended team to come up on a sixpence and fly up and scan this vehicle in the headquarters here at Teralume and really support the industry and us getting to market quickly with a quality product. And you know, we can extend this to the customer network now. So it's just a really great experience for everyone. And it assures us that we can get a vehicle out of good quality standards. So it's time to get onto the build. The main reason why this car's in here. So the customer has specified, there was a consideration around weight. So the 1700 service body being the full length model, obviously the go-to, little bit of reduction in weight, but also the customer had no need to have a tray and canopy, as he had no need to take the canopy off and revert the vehicle back to a tray. It's in stage one of its build now with the service body. Then there's wheels, tires and lift kit bar work coming next week, I believe. So it's on to its next phase very, very soon. And the primary goal of this vehicle is effectively recreation use. It's a camping vehicle. It's something he can take away with his boys. So the build was quite simple and we had a pretty easy, quick brief, and it was really, really enjoyable to work with the customer. He knew what he wanted and we just did that. So we start off 12 volt power. Now it's a funny one with these EVs. We've got an enormous, effectively inverter built into the vehicle. So we've got a step down from 480 to 240 factory in the vehicle, but there's no 12 volt in the sense that we traditionally know with normal utes like a Hilux, where you've got the DC-DC charger and all that sort of thing. So we had to go into a bit of a discovery mode and see what we could find around the vehicle. And it so happens that we do have a 12 volt pickup. It's a very strange way of doing it because the car doesn't start and there's no ignition feeds and all that sort of stuff traditionally. But we have picked up a really reliable power source, which can do all of our 12 volt charging here. And of course, inbuilt in our power hubs, unique to us, of course, is the inverter and the battery. So this power hub sits in here and literally takes care of everything. So we've got DC-DC charging, solar charging, 240 volt charging, 300 amp or 200 amp battery in there. And of course, we've got all of the outlets and all the distribution side of all of those things inside sitting on the front there as well. So it's really, really unique and cool that we can actually bring a unit to market that has everything in it without all the brain damage, I suppose, of having to wire everything in and all of this sort of thing in modularity. So the power hub was a prerequisite, given that camping was something that was important. We typically fit an 85 upright. Now, not often do we get the opportunity to go anywhere else. The customers are pretty heart set on the Bushman product for good reason, but this customer's specified a drawer fridge. No need for the big upright. So we've got an Evakool drawer fridge in here. Pulls out like so, plenty of room in there, and it keeps the height down. So we don't effectively have the full height here, which lends itself to having effectively a table or storage on top of that fridge as well. Next to it, 780 drawer. So putting things in, I mean, a big thing for us is organization. Having stuff everywhere is just not what XGO is about. It's having stuff in a consolidated area This is why we do what we do. So there is a tremendous amount of room in these 780 wide drawers. Pretty much everything that he would need to cook and clean and prep food and keep his non-perishables go in that drawer. And on top, there's another little area for bags and bits and pieces you don't want flying around. And there's a full prep table underneath as well. We've got the molly panel, unique to us, molly panel up here, great for storage for things you don't use a lot of. Now, a little bit different to what we usually do with these on the water side of things, given the fact we've got an EV charger, you know, logic says don't put power near water. We've actually brought the water filler and the breather over to this side. Fuels as it is. I think there's a 40-litre fuel tank in these, and all of the plumbing underneath for that purge system sort of sits up in custom-made plates we've made specifically for this vehicle. So keeping it pretty simple inside, we've kept it the same with the lighting side of things. Pretty much a staple for every build that goes out. Strip lights recessed into the doors, and of course our X1's inside. Now we've got 4 in here, 2 at white on each side, and the 5th being the amber in the middle. That complements these strip lights when we go to amber over night time. Just adds ambience inside the canopy as well. All switched through the power hub here. Again, we've got these 2 lockers on each side. Customers specified to keep them just open and clear. Putting recovery bits and pieces and things in there is something most people do. Again, unique to us, something we've designed, I'm sure everyone will copy it, is inbuilt zone lighting. So every service body comes with this light here on a switch. Again, we can wire and configure the switch how you wish, but it allows a nice area of light underfoot, so you're not staring at it, it's not pointing down in your face, and it's great over night time to just have that on, and it provides a bit of ambient light around the place. Again, overridden and switch there. So, probably noticed the color match. We offered a color match door to the customer and it was an absolute yes. We have so many rolling out the door now with color match. It's such a popular option. Keep in mind the note is match, not code. So color match means we have a vehicle painter that comes in. He actually scans the paint of the vehicle, gets a perfect match. We don't just go off paint codes. That's the proper way to do it. And we get the right amount of fleck in it, or the metallic finish is exactly the same. And we can do a really proper job on making sure they are literally in all lights and in sun, the same color. And again, it's that perfection piece. We do things properly here. And I believe that's the right way to do it. So color match doors, really, really cool. Obviously the lower locker as well, ties in with the black and other black accents the Shark has factory. Another specification the customer wanted was load racks. He wanted to make sure he could put his surfboards and kayaks and bits and pieces on the roof of the canopy. So load bars that go east to west, you can see up here, were fitted. And as you can see up here, we've got the 270 XT Max by Bush Company. And those guys, the Bush Company up, they're about 20 minutes north of us. So we've got a good relationship with those guys. Awesome awning and a big mounting system to suit. Now, a lot of people go, why is it sitting so high? Really, really simple. We had to make sure the door could go up and clear the awning. We have adjustment on our doors, and that's why you probably notice it sits a bit lower, and the vehicle's getting a pretty extensive lift kit and of course a set of tires as well. So we expect to see another 3 to 4 inches out of this vehicle by the time it's finished with the lift and the added tire size. Take into account it's probably sagged about 50 mil, 40 mil with the weight on it. So on the back here, we've kept the theme pretty simple again. Jerry can holder on each side, a light on each top corner, and of course the ladder in the middle. Now the ladder lends itself really well to having access to the roof, straight up, load like that. It folds back up out of the way. Jerry cans, so they come out like that. Easy loading each side. Underneath, we've got the trundle drawer. It's a standard feature on all trays and canopies. Comes out like that. So we've got the license plate flap. It just flips up and we've got the lock underneath. Standard to us as well is the lid. A lot of people add that as an option. I'm not sure why, but the lid's a really good sort of working platform, or good to put things on if you're unloading. Underneath, we've got a little bit more storage for long things or things you might not need to get to every day. So it just sits in there like that. Another lock there, slides in, locks, license goes down like that. Underneath is what I was talking about earlier with the sensors. So we've actually got the camera here, sensor there, and the bliss on each end as well. So the blind spot monitor. Unique to this, we've had to move the tap to the back. It's on a switch, and then of course twist, water comes out. So that's on a pressurized pump, all standard, and it feeds off the front tank, which is 70 litres. The back's pretty simple. It's a beautiful design with the angle. We were super proud of it, and it just looks refined. It's the next generation for us. We're super happy with how it turned out. There's so much development went into this, so much thought, so much consideration. Again, not wanting to clip harnesses or reharness anything. Everything's factory. So under here is, in this little lockable cabinet here, in this toolbox, we've got 240 volt. In the tub, that's on the inside in the back right. So that's 6 kilowatt, effectively an inverter that feeds these 3 outlets in the back. Not wanting to reharness, that's actually gone back in there and sits in there like so. Watertight in the box. So that's really cool. It still allows you to use the whole toolbox as well. So it's actually externally mounted and available to use from the inside only. So that comes up, again, lockable through key as well, so people can't use it and steal it. And of course, zone lighting on the corner here. But as we come to the front, this newly designed infill panel allows us to mount all the charging hardware that was factory on the vehicle. So it all goes back in there like so. And then it comes up, locks as well. So that's all there, sitting there as it was from the factory. We've tested it, it charges really well. The whole vehicle drives so well. And we're super proud of what we've been able to achieve in such a short time. And we're super grateful for the team we've got and all the guys that have come together and helped us actually do this platform properly. And it'll be available for everyone else, whether it be a cab chassis or a tub version. And there's thousands of tub versions out there. We've done the conversion properly, and I'd confidently say we're the first to do so, being May 2025. So it's the actual nuts and bolts we're really wanting to talk about now, and everybody wants to know, how much did this cost? Drive in, drive out, and what's it weigh? So weight-wise, we'll cover first. The body itself, with all the accessories on it, comes in at just over 400 kilos. And what we've removed off the vehicle was 170. So we've got a net gain of comfortably around 220 kilos to 250, 55 kilos. So in terms of GVMs, that does come into consideration. But of course, there won't be long before GVM upgrade kits and lift kits and load support is available for these cars. As I said earlier, this one's going in there straight after this for that. Now it's the pricing, and people always shy away from this and it's all taboo, but we're going to go and blow it out of the water and lean into it. This invoice for the customer is sitting here, and I'm going to run through every item. So 16,490 is our service body. That's a standard charge, and that covers all of the factory options that we have, which are found on our website if you want more information on that. The fitment, we charge only $14.45 for this as a service body conversion. The accessories we charge in a different component. So accessories as an item, 2 jerry can holders at $3.49 each, ladder $6.99, crossbars that go east to west $3.49, got a set of them. The drawer $12.99. Bush Company, the awning itself with the bracketry $27.40. 2 strip lights in the doors $279.90. The X1s inside, so the 5 lights, $179. 2 floodlights in the back, $159.90. Drawer fridge, 40 litre from Evakool, that's $1,100. Power hub, 200 amp complete unit, was $69.90. The Roam 200 watt solar panel on the roof, that's sitting sort of just underneath the east to west load bars, $279. Camera relocation, BSM, and all of the sensor relocation is $990, and that covers all the hardware as well. Color coding the doors, both doors on both sides, $17.49, and that's a strip, repaint and refit charge. Labor to fit all of the ancillary things on top of just the service body was $36.71.25. So all of this includes tub removal. We've got to understand all the harnessing. We've got to decommission the HV power side. We've got to relocate the 240 volt, which is on that toolbox on the other side. We've got to relocate all the charge points, fuel filler, all that plumbing as well. And of course, all the coolant lines underneath. Yes, there's cooling for charging. This stuff is incredibly advanced. They do get hot when they're charging. So we have to consider that, understand it, relocate it. Reverse parking sensors, camera and blind spot monitors, standardization for every dual cab pretty much. Modification of the toolboxes. So we had to design a lot of new parts for this. Now on the skin, it doesn't look like it. And that's part of our service. It's like we still need to maintain our design language and adapt to vehicles. Emulation of tailgate circuitry, license plate, relocation, tail light harnessing, zone lighting integration. So these are the considerations in a nutshell the customer understood as we took on this project to ensure that we had an expectation and understanding of the job. So the whole job came to, as it sits here and as it drove in and drives out, $39,468.05. So what does that get you? A complete drive-in, drive-out package. What we guarantee is the fit, and what we guarantee on the product is a 10-year structural guarantee. We've never, ever, hand on heart, had a failure here, never had a cracked weld. We've never had any issues structurally with anything we've ever done. And we want to keep that going, and we guarantee it for 10 years. It's not a soft guarantee. As managing director of the business, it's something I stand next to, as I do with every build we do. And we guarantee and we back it for that 10 years and beyond. Every one of these platforms as a service body or a tray can be adapted to vehicle after vehicle, no matter what vehicle it is, unless it's an American vehicle or a Land Cruiser. Like for like, we can adapt to every chassis moving forward. So really it's an investment, if you will. 39,000 or so dollars, 40 grand, it gets you something that's pretty damn capable. And probably, I would say you don't have to change that or replace it for a very, very long time. We've got hundreds of vehicles under our belt now. We're super well versed at this. If you're interested in making an investment into your vehicle and really extrapolating what these vehicles are actually made to do, give us a call. We've got a sales team ready to answer all your questions. We want it to be an experience for you, not something that's just a transactional thing. We are really transforming vehicles here, and of course what you do with them too. Give us a call. The whole sales team are ready to go.